I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'm delighted to introduce you to a very talented author. Her name is Denise Sampson, and she is the writer behind a heartwarming tale called The Great Gray Day. This book is a poignant reminder of the beauty and strength of friendship that transcends differences. It's a story that celebrates the innocence of childhood and the unbreakable bonds formed when hearts and minds connect, irrespective of outward appearances. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview, and it would make a great holiday present. Denise, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. This is a great book about a gray day. And even on gray days, good things can happen, right?
Yes, they sure can.
Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this story.
Okay, my inspiration was I'm a daycare teacher working in East Harlem. My inspiration came mainly from my granddaughter at the time who was in my class. She was 3 years old. And I just watched the interaction between her and different children of different cultures. And sometimes, I would say to her, don't let that happen to you. Don't let this do this to you. But she would always tell me, Grandma, we have to learn to talk to each other. At 3 years old, learn how to treat each other nicely and talk to each other. And I said to myself, that is great, because I wasn't thinking like that. I was more protective, trying to make sure that she protected herself, against anybody. So she had one friend. And to this day, they're both 23 years old now. And they're still friends. And my inspiration was to see how children of different colors, nationalities don't have the issues that adults have. And during the time when I wrote the book, I said to myself, parents tell their children who to stay away from, who not to interact with. But children at 3 years old don't have any color blindness. They play with who have something in common. And I thought that was a great inspiration to writing this book.
Absolutely. Children are pure, they're innocent, they haven't been indoctrinated yet with biases and prejudices. So they make friends with the kid that they find friendly or fun or whatever it is, irrespective of race, of culture. And that's the wonderful thing about childhood. And it's a shame that some people lose those qualities as they get older. So this book has been a long time in the making. This was inspired by your granddaughter when she was just in daycare, and now she's 23. So yeah. Tell us what made you bring it about now.
Oh, what happened was I went during COVID, I was home. I had been writing stories, but never got, thought about getting them published, just writing just to have fun. And during Black Lives Matter and all that was going on in our country, that's when I decided that this would be the best time to have this book published so that people could see that, with all the chaos that we have in our country, that children are not looking at it like that, and I was hoping that with my book out, that when parents read it to their children, they'll start to think too about that it doesn't matter about color. It just matters about what we want to bind together, do things together, work together, make our country a better country. But we can't do that if one side is white and one side is Black or whatever the nationality is. And that gave me the inspiration here. This is the time to have this book come out during Black Lives Matter and all the chaos that we were having in our country, with cop, with George, I think his name was George.
George Floyd, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I thought that was the perfect time to have it released.
Yeah, and it's great book for children to be read to by their parents because it'll spark good conversations about race relations, about different cultures, about what binds us together, and that is humanity. And like Dr. Martin Luther King says, it doesn't matter about the color of your skin. What matters is the content of your character. And that's always an important and a definite lesson that children should incorporate into their lives. Tell us about the title, The Great Gray Day. What is that all about?
Okay, so the great, great day. I thought just having this book out is great. I think to the readers, but the great part of it is that when you mix the color black and white, you get the color gray. So so I had to find something other than just the two of them being friends. So by one being African American and one being Caucasian, I thought that if you mix those two colors together, you get gray. So that's how I came up with my title, The Great
Wonderful.
Great Day. Yeah.
It's a great title. Tell us, what was it like writing this book? Were there any challenges in crafting a story that's both interesting to kids and meaningful for them at the same time?
I think the problem was more or less not wanting to cause any I wanted everybody to read it, don't matter what color, whatever they
Mhm.
were, nationality. I wanted everybody, all parents to read it to their children or children wanted to read it. So I wanted to make sure that the characters I use and the words I use would not offend anybody. So I was very careful about what I put in the book. How I explain how children of two different cultures and race could actually become friends without nobody getting kind of upset with me. I was a little worried about what African Americans would think if I wrote something, whereas I'm not talking about two African American little girls. I'm talking about a white little girl and I'm talking about a black little girl. So I didn't want I wanted everybody to enjoy the book, not start taking sides about whether or not they should read it or what wouldn't be good for their children. So that was the hard part about it, making sure I
Exactly.
did it the right way.
And you did. It's very, very inclusive. I think black children, white children, tan children, brown children, purple children, they all can learn from this book.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Let's give the folks at home an overview of what the story is about.
Okay. Okay. The story is about two little girls whose parents came from two different backgrounds, and that both parents were pregnant at the same time, and they happened to end up going to the hospital at the same time, giving birth to two little girls. So, as a result, they didn't know each other. The parents had no idea of each other, but the parents would come to the same doctor to bring their children for physicals and checkups as babies. And after they would go to the store, and the store would be like a toy store. And it was so funny that the two little girls liked the color gray. So it didn't matter what they saw, whether it was a dress or a bear or anything, long as it was gray. And the parents couldn't understand. And so when they did finally understand that the reason why they enjoyed each other's, being around each other in the stores and liking the color gray is because the two girls like gray. And when you mix the two colors together, you got the color gray. And that's what they saw. They saw themselves being friends with one another, and the black and the white together caused that color gray. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great story indeed. Tell us a little bit about the illustrations in your book. They're wonderful.
Yeah. Fulton book publishers, they're the ones that created all the the
The
illustrations.
illustrations
They
and the art.
didn't Yeah, they didn't do anything without my approval. So they would let me know what they were doing, how I wanted it set up, the colors I wanted each character to have on. So I really like their publishing. They got what I wanted right to the T. It was nothing that they put in my book that I was not satisfied with. So it was through their illustrations that I approved and got.
Well, they're great. You gave them terrific directions because they
Yeah.
really capture the essence of the
Yeah.
story, which is what you want illustrations to do. Have you envisioned this perhaps as a animated feature for kids?
Did. I really did. I was telling my daughter, I said, it'd be, because sometimes they think I go beyond what I should be doing. And I said, wouldn't it be nice if someone, but can I mention a name I thought
Hmm.
would I said, so wouldn't it be nice if Oprah would make my story into like a children's little, animated movie? And my daughter said, no, I don't think so. I said, well, you never know. I mean,
Yeah,
or I said,
exactly.
or Tyler Perry. I thought anybody that was interested in, having this come out, I thought
Yeah.
it would be nice.
Sure, Disney or Hulu,
Yeah,
any
yeah,
production company, any big
yeah,
producer or director.
yeah,
Well, the great news is the work is out there now, and you
yeah,
never know whose hand this book will wind up in. So maybe Oprah will be reading it to some kids over the holiday season. That would be great indeed.
yeah.
Are you working on anything else right now?
Yes, I have a book coming out. Maybe another, I'm hoping another week before Christmas. It's called Meet Cleo and Mindy. And
Hmm.
it's about an elephant and a giraffe. And only because I didn't want to use, it was the premises of my grandson. He
Hmm.
was short and, he likes basketball. And I was so fearful that he may not get where he wanted to because of his height. Well, that's changed. I seen him over the Thanksgiving holiday. He's very tall. But the characters in the book, I used the elephant and the giraffe, and the giraffe is about 4 feet,
Hmm.
and the elephant is about 7 feet. So of course they're in the jungle, and all the other animals just laugh at them and tease them, and nobody's their friend but the two of them. And at the end, the giraffe and his family, they leave to go out of the jungle. So Mindy, which is the elephant, is very grumpy and upset. And then they end up, her family end up moving too, and they find each other again in the jungle. And but the good thing about when they meet each other, they see that there's other elephants and giraffes in the jungle who are the same size as they. So there's no, teasing or anything. So I
They
that
found a
that's my
place
next.
that where they were accepted and they've embraced
Yes,
their differences.
yes.
All great lessons for children. It sounds wonderful. This book has a lot of great lessons for children as well. It is called The Great Gray Day. It is written by Denise Sampson. It's a beautiful story of two little girls, one black, one white, who become best friends. And they don't see any obstacles to that friendship, nor should there be, of course. And it teaches some important life lessons for children. And it's a perfect holiday gift, as I mentioned before, perfect for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. And I think you'll just love this book. Denise, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.